Hello, and welcome back to the 2 Cents Podcast. It's finally here.
It's here.
Today's the day.
Yep.
We are going over our 2024 revenue numbers, not just how much we made, but also what all our expenses are and our gross profit. So net, gross, this is the number one question we get on the internet. So we have answers for you today.
Sorry for making you guys wait for so long. We just had other topics that we felt were more pressing to talk about, but after your long-waited suspense period,
the numbers are here. But first, a word from our sponsor, Glassdoor. There are 3 really important things that you need to know in this new year to make sure that you aren't underpaid. And I talked about all of them, including the story of how I found out I was underpaid $25,000. I spilled all the beans on Glassdoor. So to hear my full story and advice to make sure that you also don't find yourself in the same predicament, be sure to follow me on Glassdoor at the link in my bio, and I'll see you around.
Now back to the episode.
All right, numbers. I've got everything from our amazing accountants, Stephanie and Ashley. Shout out to Financial Design. I'm going to link all the important things that I mentioned and, people that we work with in the description below. So if you are also a creator and in need of accounting, taxes, any help, they are the best. We have been working with them this whole time.
Yeah, for about 3 years.
Almost 3 years now. So let's rewind first to give you a bit of a backstory so we can explain, how far we've come. So if you don't know, we started Salary Transparency in April of 2022. So we are not even 3 years old yet. We are going to be 3 this April. In our first year of operations, so a little over half a year, we made, I think, a little over $600,000 in gross revenue. Yeah. The second year, so last year, was our first year where we got to do a full year, look back at all of 2023, and we made a little over $1 million in gross revenue. And if you want to know what the expenses and net income and stuff was out of that, you can go watch the video that we have linked in the description below. So our goals this year were pretty simple.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to make more, double if we could, but at least make more because as a business, that's what you want to do year after year. With inflation, expenses like adding personnel and things like that, we definitely needed to bring in more money.
Oh yeah, and we needed more help. So that is a big theme in our expenses, is that I think that our expenses for outsourced help and payroll internally skyrocketed. But yeah, let's get into the numbers. So drum roll, please. In 2024, we made a total income of $1,632,907.
Ooh.
Choo, choo, choo. Those are club sounds, imagine it, strobing lights. Yeah, we're pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
We made more than we made the previous year.
Yeah, a little bit over $500,000 more.
Not double, but I mean, gosh, in the business that we're in and with things changing overnight, platforms being gone one day and not the next, and partnerships changing, it was kind of a difficult year. So I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish within it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because, when we first started SDS, we didn't think that this would be a full-time thing. And now going on, year 3, it's a great feeling to see that the business is thriving, but also to see that it's still thriving after so long.
So where did all this money come from? We've got 2 major categories. James, break it down for us.
Yeah, and that is brand partnerships, and then the creator fund.
Brand partnerships is really straightforward. It's any partnership we have. We have amazing partnerships with brands like Capital One Cafe, Glassdoor. We did a great one with Napa Auto Parts recently. Anything that has an ad on it, hashtag ad, hashtag paid partnership, where a brand has come to us or we came to them and we're like, hey, we should do something together. That's a brand partnership.
Yeah.
They pay us for it.
Yeah, even doing the Greenville trip, that was a paid partnership where we went out to Greenville, North Carolina, and did interviews to showcase the jobs in that area. And the other part of that is the creator fund revenue, and that is the money that we get from the platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, for views on our content on that platform.
It's like an ad on YouTube, but it's not one that we worked with that company directly. Like
Yeah.
when you watch a video on YouTube, it shows you an ad immediately, like from whatever your Google Ads is getting data from on you. That is not anything that we control. It's from the platform as a whole. So
Yeah.
we get paid from how many times our videos get viewed. The largest of that is from TikTok. But first, let's break down the numbers.
Yeah.
So $1.63 million in gross revenue. How much was that brand and partnership income?
1.58.
So $1,580,282, which like off the bat, to me, I'm kind of like, it doesn't matter what the other one was because like that's almost the entire income.
Yeah, that's about 97 to
Yeah, I
98%.
believe 96% was last year. So yeah, crazy math. It went up.
Yeah.
So we became more reliant on brand partnerships. Interesting. So we actually made more in brand partnership, at least as a greater percentage of our income this past year than the year prior
Yeah.
by like 1 percentage point.
That leaves the rest, which is $52,010 that it came from the creator fund.
So I wanted to know, which of these platforms was paying us the most because we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Spoiler, LinkedIn pays us nothing. But from those four, and Snapchat as well, which do we make the most money from? Number one, this one hurts a little bit. TikTok, 30,396 was from TikTok as a whole. So
Yeah.
that's what's the math on that? 3/5? That hurts. And the day that we're recording this, the Supreme Court upheld the TikTok ban. So when you're listening to this, TikTok might be banned. So pour one out for
Yeah.
us.
See, and so keep that in mind, because we've been getting a lot of questions like how will the TikTok ban affect us? And
There you go.
yeah, I mean like that shows you just how much it affects us. Previously speaking about the other number, 97% of our money comes from brand partnership. So yes, TikTok will hurt because that's the platform that we make the most from as far as view revenue.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's only about 1 or 2%.
Correct.
But that's a unique situation. Like a lot of creators do not make as much in brand partnerships as we do, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Really quick, I'll just drill down these numbers. So 30,000 for TikTok. The second highest payment was from YouTube. We made a little under $8,500 on YouTube. Then following was Instagram and Facebook brought together. They don't tell us which one makes the most. We are not pro Meta in this household. But that was a little under $8,000, just 7,984. And then the last one was Snapchat. We made $4,685 there. So that is the order of which platform pays us the most. And hopefully that was helpful. But for brand and partnership income, a big reason why we make so much is not only because we work with blue collar, or not blue collar, they're actually called blue chip companies, is what I've heard other creators call them. Basically like really high caliber, like they have solid marketing budgets, the Capital
Yeah, big
Ones, the
brands.
Amexes, these big brands. And so, yes, they do have the budget and we do have 3 million followers. Are we losing half of them with TikTok? Absolutely. But we have nearly 1 million followers on Instagram, which some people would argue, including myself, 1 million followers on Instagram sometimes holds a little bit more weight than 1 million on TikTok just because
Yeah.
of how easy it is to go viral on TikTok. So it took us way more time to build up to 1 million on Instagram versus our TikTok has kind of plateaued a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a pretty steady 1 point something mil that we've just been hanging on to at this point.
Yeah. And, we get shadow banned all the time. We get shadow banned on Instagram as well. It's not just a TikTok only thing. But, from a business perspective, looking at these numbers, are we devastated that TikTok is being banned? I am, like from a consumer
As a
content
consumer,
perspective.
yes.
Yeah. And losing half of our community really sucks. So if you're listening to this and you follow us on TikTok, please be sure to follow us on the other platforms because that sucks to me is losing half of our community overnight. And we owe almost everything to
Yeah.
TikTok. They're the reason we went viral.
The other portion of that too is that a lot of schools use our content, to
Yes.
to let their students view it. And
Mhm.
it's easier for them to find that on TikTok versus Instagram.
Somebody just sent me a DM and they were like, my TikTok got hacked and I had all your videos saved and I can't find them as easily on Instagram. Can you send me the videos? And I was like, I don't have the time to do this. But yes, 100%. It is way harder to find our videos. And even when I Google, because sometimes I Google, I'm like Salary Transparency Project Manager, if I need to find like in our archive, it's always TikTok links that come up,
Yeah,
not
TikTok.
Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. It's going to suck for our visibility and reach, but we will persevere. If you want more questions about that, we could do a whole episode on the TikTok ban. But back to our income. So we broke down where our sources of income come from, what they all are. Now let's talk about our expenses and what the net income ends up looking like. So, what was our biggest expense?
Yeah, that's obvious. Payroll, which is the biggest thing. With us adding another team member and me getting a pay bump as well as you getting a pay bump.
How much do we make?
How much do you make?
I make, well, we'll get into this. At the end of 2024, I was making $240,000. That's what I ended the year at. I have since taken a pay cut. We'll get into this, but 240K. How much do you make?
I make 100,000.
You got a bump right towards the end. So you didn't
Yeah.
spend the whole
Yeah.
year at that, but
For most of the year, I was at 45 without realizing that I was
we
at
thought you were
45.
higher.
Yeah. But then we corrected that a few months later, or a few months ago. So
Mhm.
now I'm at 100,000.
And that hasn't changed. So
All right.
100,000 for you, 240,000 for me.
So the other portion of that payroll expense also is our third employee,
Yes.
who just joined us not too long ago.
She joined us. Our content manager joined us full time. Prior to that, she was part time for a little bit, and she just stuck with us for the past year and a half and did great work. And we were like, we really need the help. We need somebody who can help us manage our content calendar, post, edit, make adjustments, and just be part of the team. So we brought on a full time content manager at $100,000 in New York City. And yeah, so that is over $400,000 right there
Yeah,
in
but
payroll. So
that brings our payroll to $335,953.
yeah, and that makes sense because we weren't all making that at the same time. So it evens out. But yeah, our biggest expense was paying our people, which it that's a good thing.
Makes sense.
That's a
Yeah,
good thing. It
yeah,
would be bad if that wasn't.
yeah.
Our second biggest expense was advertising and marketing, which is a bit misleading because we don't run any ads on our content. But what advertising and marketing actually means is our newsletter. We pay a contractor no longer. We unfortunately had to cut that expense recently, but we used to work with a company who we paid $6,000 a month to do our newsletter, one newsletter a week. They did everything. It was wonderful. It was really nice to have the service. Unfortunately, we can't afford it anymore. That was about $72,000. The other big one is agent fees. So a lot of our brand partnerships have come about with the help of agents. Agents really just help with the communication, the back and forth. They help with the outreach. Sometimes we have worked with agents just because of their network and knowing that they know people that we want to work with, and that has helped us get brand partnerships. And you pay a fee for that. They usually take 20% of partnerships. So we ended up paying out to various agents about $156,000. Other various expenses within that is, social media strategy, website and hosting, and then branding, which is like our merch products. We actually were in the hole for merch. Yeah, we love our
This is one
merch.
of our merch products.
We made no money on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was some of our expenses. Our third biggest expense was outsourced services, and that includes all our contract labor, legal, and accounting. So the amazing team that ran these numbers,
That
our
gathered these
lawyers,
numbers for us.
yeah, that gathered these numbers for us. Our lawyers, our editor, shout out Amanda for this podcast. We love you. And anybody else we've worked with that has helped us. We have gotten help on our website. We've gotten help on our strategy. We've gotten help on developing our website, our blog. So we pay a lot of people to make everything work. So the total number for that was $135,864. So I hope you know that there's a labor of love behind the scenes, and it costs a lot of money, but we're happy about it.
Yeah.
The fourth biggest expense we have is this baby right here.
Yep, our website expense. So, for
Woo.
those of you who don't know, we do have a website, salarytransparentstreet.com. And with that, it has a bunch of features, and a lot of those features cost money.
Yeah, we built our website from the ground up with an amazing company called Course Studio. You may recognize the name because we shouted them out in our last episode. They were doing a fundraiser for the LA wildfires. I'll link that below if it's still open. If you're able to donate, that'd be wonderful. But Course Studio is fantastic. They built our website from the ground up. So we own the IP, we own the code, and that has been a very strategic decision. We wanted to build something that if an app like TikTok were banned and we were to lose half of our following, where can people still find us in a place that we own the place where we
Yeah.
live? And not only that, how do we develop from just our content of what do you do and how much do you make to deliver and fix a solution on a greater scale? That's where our salary database came in, and that's where our job board has come in, which just launched this month. So we are changing the game. We would love if you use it, if you log in, let us know what you like, what features you'd like to see added next. As you can tell, they cost a hefty sum, but that's what happens when you build something from the ground up.
And with that, that total came out to $118,172.
I thought we already said the number, but
I
yeah,
figured you thought
six
that.
figures.
Yeah.
And that was just last year, and we didn't do nearly as much to it as we'd done in prior years. We've spent a lot of money on this website. My poor accountant will agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stephanie. And then other than that, we've just got some little miscellaneous expenses here. We've got travel. Travel's a big one, but it
Yeah.
actually ended up being just about
Yeah.
$36,000.
Yeah, it costs money for us to go places. In the beginning, we were, backpacking it everywhere and
Yeah, really
taking the
bootstrapping
car.
it.
But now we have the luxury of being able to go to places at the expense of the company's dollar. So
Sometimes.
yeah, sometimes. So we try to do that, and that came out to about 36,000. And that sounds like a lot for travel, but considering the amount of places that we've been to, the amount of events that we've been to, the constant air travel, train travel,
Constant.
car travel. That sounds about right to me.
For the summer, I think we were traveling every weekend,
Every weekend,
if
yeah.
not multiple times a week.
And also keep in mind, like that's us flying regular commercial. We don't pay.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
not
we don't
first
pay for
class.
first class. We're
No.
not flying private jets, nothing like that. We're in coach.
Economy in the back.
Yeah.
Just how we like it. And honestly, I kind of like that because there's higher
Survival.
odds of survival in the back of the plane.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad about it.
Cheaper tickets, and I got a greater chance of survival. Sign me up.
That's amazing. Jinx, you owe me a Coke. And the last one is charitable donations. We've talked time and time again about wanting to do more. I'm happy that we were able to donate $7,418 last year. That number should be a lot more. I'd like it to be a lot more, but yeah, at the end of the year, we ended up with all of those expenses, total expenses, $942,804 for a total net profit of, drumroll please, $690,103.
Woo!
I think I'm proudest of that. I'm less proud of the income. I'm more proud of our profit.
Yeah, the profit. I mean, it says a lot to how we spend money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a business has to spend money to make money, and being able to pull in a profit of 690 is definitely really good.
Yeah, which brings us back to what I mentioned earlier, that I've taken a pay cut, is that this is an amazing number to look at, 690. It's like, oh my God, we're set, yada
Yeah.
yada. This is the reality. I'm gonna drop it on you like a ton of bricks. I met with our accountant to do our plan of the year of 2025, and long story short, she said, if you don't make any more money from partnerships in the next quarter or two, first or second quarter, this money is going to run out by June, and we will be officially net zero.
Yeah. But I mean, like, then again, it makes sense, right? You look at our you look at our expenses, and our expenses are almost $1 million. We're bringing in, a little bit over half of that in profit. Nothing else on top of that. Just that profit alone will get us to June. You know? So therefore, we're spending about $100,000 every month, at
About,
minimal.
yeah, and that's mostly on our people.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of in a place now, especially with the TikTok ban and this news, there's a light under a fire under our butts
Yeah.
to get it moving. We have some partnerships that we hope we can renew in the new year. We have some exciting things that we're working on. But ultimately we need to turn this ship around. Right now, the partnerships are really dry in the creator world, and
Well, that's
there's
because, everybody's waiting to see
yep,
what the political landscape turns out to be,
yeah,
so companies aren't putting money for advertising dollars and stuff like that. So yeah, we're kind of just in this limbo state for partnerships at the moment, just waiting to see what happens.
yeah. So we've decided I'm gonna take a pay cut. I don't know how far down. I know I'm in the hundreds, like I'm out of the 200s, and that's okay. What I love about the business is that is temporary, but my accountant is like, if we right the ship, then we'll bring you back up and we'll pay you the back end.
Yeah,
So I'm not worried about that. Very privileged to say it, but we are kind of in a reckoning where we also I don't like being super dependent on partnerships.
same.
And some of the partnerships we've had to do to pay the bills are ones that I wish I could have said no to and been pickier about. And we're incredibly picky, which is also a hard part of making money because we do say no, believe it or not, to 99% of opportunities that come our way because we do want to protect our brand image. And one of the things we've been thinking that I would really love your 2 cents on, if you're listening, you've made it this far. I really appreciate
Yeah,
you. Thank
thank you.
you. Please let me know in the comments or send me an email what your thoughts are on this. I feel like we need to be sensitive. But I, as a business owner and as creators, I would like I said, I'd like to become less reliant on brand partnerships. And I would love to start a Patreon or a way that we can give our community exclusive content because sometimes I feel like we give a lot away and then I get disheartened if it doesn't reach the right people. And I think that I just want to reach our community and know that people that are there want to be there and they want this content. But, going on the heels of saying, we made $1 million, pay for our subscription,
Yeah.
that sounds so insensitive. And so I struggle with that. But we are also coming from this standpoint of we're going to run out of money in June and we're losing a platform. And I know that you all don't like the ads. I don't like them either. Like, I don't love seeing ads all the time, but we do still need to pay our people and pay our team, as you can see what our expenses are. So, all this to say, we would love your 2 cents. Is a paid community something that you would be open to? Promise you we're not gonna scalp you.
Mhm.
We're thinking like 3.99 a month.
Yeah, and then that'll give you exclusive content like full length videos behind the scenes.
Bonus 2 cents
Yeah,
episodes.
bonus episodes. I mean, like, there's a lot that we want to
Lives.
provide, but in the current landscape of things, it's a lot more difficult for us to turn away partners to provide you guys with that content,
Right.
So we're trying to balance the two, brand partnership as well as giving things to the community, and we'd love to be able to focus more on things that we think you guys would enjoy, or information that you guys would benefit from more, and utilizing a Patreon that would help pay for those things.
Absolutely. It would be a complete shift in how we make money and how we reach you, but we're open to it. We have great ideas, but we want to make sure first that this is something that you all would be open to as well. But yeah, those are the numbers. That's how much we made in 2024. I'm so thrilled. We profited over $500,000. We made well over $1 million. There's so many things moving pieces right now in the political landscape and with TikTok being banned that it's hard to make goals for what we want next year, but I know two things are for certain. We are going to be putting a lot of time and energy into our YouTube and also into our podcast and really developing this into something that is a full force production every week.
Yeah, we want to provide you guys with higher quality content
Yes.
versus what we've been doing more recently, which is just providing you guys with a lot of content.
We want more
Yeah, so
quality
we're
over
we're we're looking
quantity.
to make that shift.
Yeah. Let us know what you want to hear from us. And also, we are starting to arrange interviews for, if you listen to our prior episodes, we're trying to jazz up these podcasts with some interviews with some really exclusive, interesting guests. We've got great suggestions from y'all so far. We're in the works of scheduling those. So if there's anyone that's come to mind that you would like us to interview, let us know in the comments. And, we read the comments. So we're trying to make things happen.
Yeah. And as always, that was our 2 cents, and let us know yours.
Thanks. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.